Morning everybody. It's Thursday the 22nd of May and we still haven't received much rain. There were some thunderstorms that went round over the last 24 hours, but unfortunately we didn't get any. So as you can see, I'm standing in front of a big pile of quite mature compost, and I just wanted to explain to you a change of strategy. So historically you've seen us using the Willibald compost turner, and there's a couple of realizations we've come to. Our compost journey started with buying industrial municipal compost, and this was absolutely full of contamination. We used to do quite a good business in metal detecting, and suddenly the metal detectorists couldn't use our fields because there was so much metal contamination that it was setting their detectors off all the time, and they weren't able to find stuff. So that I took as a bad sign of the amount of contamination. From there we went to generating our own compost, and also this was a result of a better understanding the compost process by virtue of Elaine Ingham's course, what was required to make hot compost, and we started importing different products. We've seen the grass waste and wood chip, and bringing in cow muck, and undoubtedly it results in a very good product, but the compost turning is a expensive and laborious process. It needs to take place when either the ground around it is wet, so that it doesn't help a tractor mounted compost turner. You more need a 360 to turn it, or if you're doing it in summer with a windrow, you need a lot of water to get the process flowing. So a number of challenges to generating in-house compost, whereas we have kind of found some middle ground. Now this is wood screened compost, so it's all the fines, all the leaf mold, small branches, that sort of stuff, that is screened out of wood chip before it goes to power stations. So arb waste screenings effectively. I am paying for it. It does come with its own logistical challenges, but it is being delivered in volumes that we can use. We always have the challenge of how to make this as economically viable as possible. We are involved in carbon trading, so by adding organic supplements like this to our soil, it does improve our payback from the carbon trading platform. So effectively the carbon trading is making a contribution to the cost. But I think, going back to our history, when we started composting, the support network around composting didn't exist. So we didn't have muck spreaders with whey cells on. So at the time we invested in one of those. That was when I was running my arable joint venture. We lost access to that and it got sold as part of the joint venture divorce. But local contractors are now offering that with 360 loading. And one of the advantages of the Willibald was it also enabled us to load spreaders really quickly. So that's kind of another reason that we don't need the Willibald. So we are in the process of restoring the Willibald, and then it'll be put on the market. So that's to come in future. And instead, I've been thinking about how to make the storage of the compost as efficient as possible. So in winter we are investing in pads for lorries to access our sites during winter. So we're trying to locate these strategically all over the holding. So there's a capital investment there, but they can be used for other uses, so that it's not a single cost that can be associated to just the compost. And in addition, we've invested in a buck rake. We were looking at a buck rake for the reason of we were trying to, after we'd done all the tree shearing, to kind of push up all those branches and kind of collect them together in order for the chipper to access them. But I was a little bit unsure about whether this would result in punctures for the tractor. I'm keener for the JCB to take the puncture risk than the tractor. But the realization that we could push up compost heaps in the same way that silage heaps are pushed up and consolidated. The consolidation is a bit of an issue. I'd like to kind of leave some aeration in there, but it's not at the cost of efficiency. So it's something that we've invested in, and it's just a cheap acquisition off eBay to see if the principle works, but it's something to show you going forward. So here is our new buck rake. So for those of you who aren't aware, it comes in two sections, a headstock that fits on the front of the tractor. So we've actually just gone out and ordered new pins for the 3-point linkage. The hydraulics then attached to the tractor, and that enables the other half of the headstock to push forward over the spikes, pushing product off. So we're going to use this for pushing up our compost heap. So it fits on the front of the tractor. Obviously some areas in need of repair, so we can get that done, but certainly a cheaper alternative than the compost turner itself. And it's worth saying whilst we're here that this week we loaded our last lorry of winter beans, so that concludes sales for Harvest 2024. Now, as many of you know, gaining access to landlocked fields can be a real challenge on our farm, especially when infrastructure projects like road construction are involved. This 15-hectare area was completely inaccessible, and as a result we've had a significant outbreak of blackgrass. To tackle this issue head-on, our immediate step was to apply glyphosate, a broad spectrum herbicide, to get effective control over rampant blackgrass and any other competitive weeds. The glyphosate application is always carefully timed, and in this situation we have applied it as soon as possible after gaining access to maximise its efficacy. Just 24 hours after applying glyphosate, we decided to top the blackgrass. The decision to top quickly after spraying was strategic. It helps remove the bulk of the maturing seeds, preventing them from spreading further and reducing future seed bank buildup, but should provide enough time for the systemic herbicide to spread throughout the plant, stopping the plant generating additional seed heads. With the black grass targeted, we're now in a position to think strategically about our next steps. This includes careful planning around crop rotation, soil health improvements and potentially integrating further cover crops. I'll keep you updated on our decisions and the results we see in the coming weeks and months. So one thing that we also discussed last year was this field that I'd rented out to a neighbour for wildflowers, and at the time we said we're not very good at growing wildflowers, do you mind if we augment it? So it got augmented with borage and chicory. As you can see at the moment, the borage is out, the chicory hasn't quite broken out in flower yet, but we appear to have a lot of plants out here making up the good population.